Hello, hello. Happy New Year.
Hi, Spider-Man. Well, I was gonna ask you to introduce yourself, but just in case there's one person on the planet who doesn't know who you are, who are you?
Hey, my name's Spider-Man. Maybe a radioactive spider in the past. Yada, yada.
Okay, so the number one question everyone wants to know is, does it hurt when you shoot out your web?
No, thankfully not. It kind of tickles a little bit, but no pain. I'm good.
And where does it come from?
So I've researched the Spiderverse. There's tons of Spider-Man, turns out. Now, some of them got web shooters. Mine actually just comes right out of my wrist. You see, I got this little lump. I think that's swollen up from where the spider bit me, and that's right where it comes from.
How cool, how cool. Okay, so if you could battle any DC character.
Spider Cat, you may have seen him. And then
Is that a cat?
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, Precious. How fun.
Yeah, he likes to hang out. Sometimes he'll help us.
Okay, so if you could battle any DC character, who would it be?
You know, I've actually thought about it for a little while. And of course, initially I'm thinking villains, right? But then I decided I'd want to battle Batman. Because, me and him are similar in that we're both vigilantes, you could say. But also, he's super rich. And, Spider-Man, I'm broke. I'm fighting for the look.
I'm broke.
He's got all sorts of planes and gadgets, and I'm making stuff in my shed in the backyard. So, I don't know. I feel like that could be a really cool battle for, the story and, the headline, so to speak.
That's dope. I like that. I like that. Okay. Why does Flash Thompson hate you so much?
Gosh. So Flash and I go way back, of course. And I think it's just, I think technically he's maybe just jealous because I have the brains, right? I mean, he got the girls and the athletics and all that, but, I'm the one that's getting scholarships. So I think it's just that, but in reality, I think, come college, he's probably going to mellow out. We'll be cool again. We'll see. But, yeah, I think it's just a brains versus brawn sort of thing. He'll get over it.
He'll get over it. True. All right, which two Avengers would you like to be stuck on a deserted island with?
Yeah, so, my first thought was Tony Stark because, he's been kind of mentoring me recently, but then I was like, I don't know, his attitude might not click with me so well. So I'm going to go with Doctor Strange because I think he could be a good mentor, right? And he's learning so much that he could teach me about the multiverse and all the other Spider-Man, and I could learn from them too, hopefully. And then I was thinking Captain Marvel just because she's, the strongest out of all of us. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty strong, but I'm not Captain Marvel intergalactic strong. So, she'd be there ready to protect us on the island from anything that I couldn't handle, which, wouldn't be much. But just in case, we get another Thanos situation, I need some muscle there.
You're right. So, speaking of Thanos, who do you think is the toughest villain you've ever encountered?
Cool. So, yeah. And strictly speaking, villainous Thanos, of course, right? Took hundreds of thousands of us, literally I disappeared from the planet for years. Don't really know what happened, but I'm back. But I think, speaking more like a metaphorical sense, it might be like myself. Back to that introduction, what happened after I was bit? I see someone said Carnage. Classic choice, of course.
Yeah.
But being bit and, realizing that I have the power to help people and that if I don't, people I love can die. So I lost my uncle pretty early on after the bite. Rest in peace, Uncle Ben. And, it took a long, long time to forgive myself for that. And I carried that weight. I mean, still to this day, a little bit. But yeah, so metaphorically, the inside, straight up though, Thanos, obviously.
I dig that. I love that. Okay. Do you think that you were the originator of the selfie?
Yes, I mean, of course, I took them a little bit differently than maybe people take them now. Like I would just shoot my, webs, hang my camera at places. But yeah, selfie, Patreon, like anything where people are selling their own pictures. I've been doing that for years. Like, gosh, if the internet was around, I wouldn't be the poor guy from Brooklyn. But that's fine. Yeah, I set the way, let others follow. It's perfect.
And then my last question for Spider-Man. What is your most fond memory of Stan Lee?
Stan Lee, wow. Yeah, it's tough because he's like a father figure to me, essentially.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's got to be though when he introduced. No, he said a quote actually, and what he had said was that, paraphrasing, of course, was that the reason he liked Spider-Man was it could be anybody behind the mask, um, and that kids from all backgrounds, all races, anywhere in the world, which we really saw with Into the Spiderverse, could potentially see themselves as Spider-Man. And that was just so inspiring to me, and like helped me realize, I need to get out there and take my responsibility that came along with this great power.
So speaking of behind the mask, can I talk to the man behind the mask now?
Yeah, of course. Let me hide you for a second here.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining. So for those of you who are just tuning in, I did have a conversation with Spider-Man, but now we're going to talk to the man behind the mask and find out his origin story to see what inspired him to wear the mask. Hello, hello. Okay, so please introduce who you are.
Yeah, so my name's Dustin. You can call me Dusty, that's fine, or Dustin, whatever. I am a 29-year-old person who works in state education, local education. And on the side, I'm Spider-Man.
What made you want to put on the mask?
Yeah. So in 2017, I was in a car accident, and I think you froze for a second. Oh, you're good. All right, cool. So being in this car accident, I was T-boned. It was the day after my birthday, actually. I was driving to my family, and I was T-boned, and most of my injuries were kind of like invisible to me as well. Thank you, Steve. And I had a concussion. I had neck issues, back issues, and what I didn't know until much later was that I had PTSD, and then from the back pain, I had depression, and then anxiety as like a side effect of the PTSD. So all of those things kind of happened, and I spent basically a year or so doing like chiropractor, physical therapy, not really driving. A fortunate thing with my job is that I live where I work, so I didn't really need a car. So I was like, cool, I can just ignore this part of my life for now. But after that first year, I was like, okay, now I really got to figure out this like mental, emotional stuff. Like, why am I still so bothered in the car?
Yeah.
So then I went, through counseling for maybe a year and a half. And in there, my counselor really charged me to figure out how to make this a positive. Like, how do I take this tough life experience and like help people? So with that, I had kind of been thinking about like making YouTube videos, kind of sharing my story, or like talking about it, just like lessen that mental health stigma, because now I know so much more than I did before. But I also, was really interested in like helping with kids specifically. So it kind of like inspired me to, find my way of like giving back and making it a positive, was to get the mask, get the suit, and start just like showing up where kids would be and making them happy and stuff. Ultimately, I want to go to hospitals and things like that. But I got my suits two-ish months into COVID, so that's not going to happen for a while.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, just kind of trying to find a way to turn that experience into a positive. If I can go visit with the kids and like tell them like, hey, you're gonna get out of this, or like, hey, I get beat up all the time by villains, like it gets better and stuff like that. I think that'd be like kind of the primary reason for picking up the mask. Right now, I'm trying to do some like small scale things. So like I went to the farmers market and saw some kids. I made some videos, but nothing too intense with COVID. So
yeah. And speaking of your suits, they're so cool looking. They're so detailed.
yes.
Where do you get them from?
So far I've gotten them from 2 different places. So this suit is from a company called the RPC Studio. They make super high quality suits. They're kind of expensive, and then you can customize them like crazy. So one cool thing about this one is this emblem. You probably can't tell on Instagram, but it's actually 3D, and it's like puffed out. So I really thought that was kind of neat, and that's kind of like where I splurged. But you can also get like paint on all the suits. Like every single line can be like, they call it puffy paint. Make it 3D and stand out and have texture. I also have a Miles Morales suit, and I got that one from a company called Sentai Zone, which is a bit more affordable. So that's kind of where I'm looking for suits right now. And I've got 2 in the way from Sentai Zone as well, which I won't tell you what they are because I need to keep that surprise when I debut them.
Okay. Okay, so why do you think Spider-Man's villains are all animal themed?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's
Like, have you noticed that? Like Doc Ock and I mean, obviously Venom is just Spider-Man, but like, and the Green Goblin.
Yeah, I think it might just be like some lack of creativity amongst my villainous coworkers. But no, to see animals, and like, who hasn't seen a bird and been like, gosh, I wonder what it's like to fly, or like, I was just watching The Amazing Spider-Man, and like the lizard makes so much sense for Dr. Kirk Connors with wanting to regrow limbs and stuff. So I think it's more just that we as humans see animals, and like we might be the top of the food chain, but we're like, man, that's really cool. Like I wish I was a cheetah and could sprint around that fast.
Right.
So it's probably just them trying to live out some fantasy that we might all have.
I never really thought about that. That's actually really deep. I never thought about that. So talk to us about your Patreon.
Yeah, so Patreon, that's new for me. It wasn't something I originally thought about making because I just wanted to go to the hospitals and stuff. But really, it's just a way to help support that goal. So right now, I have a few tiers. One of them is $3. And the goal for all of my Patreon business, side hustle, whatever, is just to like help support like visiting those kids, and whether that's getting new suits or making repairs, or even just gas money to and from the hospitals. So we got the $3 tier, which is like you get to see everything early that I post on Instagram. I've also done like polls in there, like what suit should I get next, things like that. And then the tiers kind of go up in value, and you always get everything from the lower tiers. So there's a tier that gives you like access to all of my photos that I take, as opposed to like the 1 or 2 I might put on Instagram. There's one that gives access to everything unmasked. This is actually the first time I've fully revealed my face. I've only done like a little partial.
You did like a half face, yeah.
With a hood on, so I figured keep that as a tier, and then I have one that's kind of exciting to me. I don't know that anyone's gonna do it because I think $3 is gonna be like the prime spot for most people. But I did make one where it's like I could do custom videos or maybe live video calls with people's kids. So if they want to like follow up Spider-Man, and I've done it for like a few birthdays, which has been really cool. But maybe if somebody wanted more of a recurring thing, they could sign up for there and then like get a monthly video or call from Spider-Man with their kids. So I thought that was going to be kind of cool. But $3, that's how much it takes to support me. That's the sweet spot.
I like that. That's very practical. I like that a lot. So who is your Spider-Man? Who do you think is your favorite Spider-Man? There is a wrong answer, by the way.
Oh gosh. So so I mean, of course, I've always loved Tobey Maguire and his portrayal. That was the one I grew up with and like got to see. And I was watching The Amazing Spider-Man yesterday, and Andrew Garfield does a great job, but he's maybe just a little too old, which I didn't realize at the time. But like now that we have Tom Holland, who is probably my favorite for the live action ones anyway, um, I know, surprise. I just think he has like, well, the age, of course, he's younger than the others. But I just love like the awkwardness that he portrays, and
Yeah,
not just in that
yeah,
he's the awkward, Spider-Man that's really smart and everything, but like you get to see the teenage awkwardness of like him trying to interact with the different girls or his classmates and things like that. Um, in non-live action, I love the Into the Spider-Verse movie. Like I thought that was so cool, and like seeing all the Spider-Men from the different backgrounds like really cemented that um, anyone can be behind the mask thing for me. Um, and then also I found the two Peter Parkers in that one to be inspiring because in both of their little intro stories, they said like no matter how many hits I take, I get back up. Um, and that was kind of like hit home for me with the car accident and like wanting to give back and being like, all right, we took that hit, let's move forward, and how do we do it? So, but yeah, Tom Holland, he's got it right now. We'll see. I haven't watched the original trilogy in a little while, so maybe I'll get back to it. But maybe between those two,
me.
and Tom Holland's got the slight edge.
I mean, I can't wait for there to have the marathon on Disney Plus. Do you think they will since it's Sony?
I don't think so. Not for a while, anyway.
Yeah. I hope they figured that out because when the live action Spider-Verse happens, yo, that's to me take all my money.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that call,
Okay.
so hook me up.
Right? Okay, where can we like you, stalk you, follow you, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so my Instagram is just at spiderman.nc, as you can see on here on this live call. My Patreon is patreon.com/DustyCosplays. Those are kind of my two like primary spots for now. If people want, they can send DMs and everything. I'm open to like doing custom vids for kids and things without you necessarily being a patron. If you DM me, and we can come work it out in the details. But yeah, those are the primary spots for now. Haven't really grown beyond Instagram. Just kind of keeping it small, keeping it local. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
You have a very good heart.
Thank you.
You do. That's very noble that you just want to give and just at such an affordable price. Because I know I have friends who cosplay and they're like $500. I'm like, okay, well,
Ooh,
calm down. But okay, last question, then I'm gonna let you go.
okay.
Why do you think legacy is so important?
Yeah. So I think for me, the way I define legacy is more about like the people I've impacted and kind of like more like a dominoes, like how will they impact people as opposed to, I've received this one great thing. Everybody's going to remember me for this. So I think it's really important because if I can, give back to the community or inspire a kid in some way, that, further down the line, hopefully they can give back and like we get this like this circle effect of like kindness or whatever it might be. Is kind of why it's important, and hopefully we can keep making the world a better place. And 2021, I mean, we got nowhere to go but up, right? So, yeah, I mean, legacy, it's important, and to me, it's like I said, it's not about my own accomplishments, but it's about kind of how did I move things forward, I guess.
I love that answer. Well, thank you so much, Dusty, for your time. This was such a great way to start off my year. Like you said, it's only going up from here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. This is awesome.
Thank you. All right, well, I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right, so long, everybody.
Bye.